नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, Text 37. Tatha api devaha sapatnyan tatapi deva sapatnyan na upekshaha iti manmahe nopeksha iti manmahe tataha tat mula khanane tatastan mula khanane niyungshva asman anuvratan niyungshvasman anuvratan tatapi deva sapatnyan nopekshya iti manmahe tatastan mula khanane niyungshvasman anuvratan. Tatha api, still devaha, the demigods, tapatnyat, due to enmity, na upekshaha, should not be neglected, iti manmahe, this is our opinion, tataha, therefore, tat mula khanane, to uproot them completely, niyungshva, engage, asman, us, anuvratan, who are ready to follow you. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Shri Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Nonetheless, because of their enmity, our opinion is that the demigods should not be neglected. Therefore, to uproot them completely, engage us in fighting with them, for we are ready to follow you. Please repeat the translation. Nonetheless, because of their enmity, our opinion is that the demigods should not be neglected. Therefore, to uproot them completely, engage us in fighting with them, for we are ready to follow you. According to moral instructions, one should not neglect to extinguish fire completely, treat diseases completely, and clear debts completely. Otherwise, they will increase and later be difficult to stop. Therefore, the ministers advised Kamsa to uproot his enemies completely. Presents the Bhaktivinoda purport and translation. Canto 10, Chapter 4, Text number 37 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. In the previous verse, the ministers of Kamsa, giving great confidence to Kamsa and boasting Kamsa's position, made highly exaggerated statements about Kamsa by saying that although demigods boast themselves as being very powerful, actually they can do so only when they're away from the battlefield. That means when they're on the battlefield, they're very much afraid of your power. So only when there is no prowess can they show their fighting skills. That's the position of demigods. And you are so great that when the opponent does not have chariot, does not have weapons, or forgets to use a weapon, or becomes afraid of the war, you forgive them. You let them go. You don't kill them. That's your magnanimity. And as far as their master, the master of the demigods, Vishnu, is concerned, he has entered the core of the hearts of the yogis. He is in isolation, basically. Why is he in isolation? Why he has gone to the heart of the yogis? Because he's afraid of you, my lord. And their boss is also afraid of you. So you have no fear from anyone. And Lord Shiva, he's in the forest anyway. Don't have to worry about him. And as far as Brahma is concerned, he is deep in meditation and austerities. So nobody is equal to your prowess. Basically, they're saying what Krishna is, Kamsa is. Asama Urdhva. Nobody is equal to you or greater than you. Therefore, you have nothing to fear. So, in this context, today's verse, the ministers of Kamsa are continuing Tatha Api. Still, that means even though your position is unchallengeable, you are very secure because you're too powerful. I mean, the chief of Devatas and their boss, Vishnu, they're afraid of you. What to speak of others? There's no fear for you, my lord. Yet, Tathapi, still, Deva Sapatnyan, still, uh, Sapatnyan, because of the enmity, Devaha, of the demigods towards us, na upeksha iti manmahe. We should not neglect them. Na upeksha iti manmahe. This is our opinion. We should not neglect them. They're insignificant in comparison to your power and prowess. Yet, Deva Sapatnyan, because of their constant enmity towards us, inimical nature towards us, we should not neglect them. So, what we should do? That they are saying. Tataha, therefore, O King Kamsa, please hear from us. Tanmula Khanane. We should uproot them completely. Niyungshva Asman, Anuvratan. Niyungshva Asman. Please engage us. Asman means us. Niyungshva means engage. Niyungshva Asman. Anuvratan. Engage us in fighting with the demigods. We'll kill them wholesale. Anuvratan. And we are ready to follow you and your order. We are just waiting for your order. So tata deva sapatnyan na upekshya iti manmahe. Because the devatas are constantly envious of us, although they're insignificant, it is better we don't neglect them and completely destroy them, kill them. Tan moola kanane, from the root. That means without leave, sparing any single demigod or any single follower of Vishnu, including Vishnu. Ningshva Asman Anubrata, and we are ready to follow you. Please instruct us, engage us in. In the Bhagavad Gita, very first chapter, we can appreciate why the asuras, the ministers, their advising Kamsa not to spare anyone, even single demigod. Why? There's a big danger. That's described also in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita by Duryodhan to Dronacharya. Third verse, first chapter, if you see. This Bhagavad Gita, how does it begin? Begins with Dhritarashtra asking Sanjaya, what is the scene on the battlefield? Because my sons and the sons of Pandu, they both have assembled in a fighting spirit. So what is going to happen? So Sanjaya replied to Dhritarashtra, seeing the army gathered by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. Sanjay Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandava Nikam Pandava Anikam Vyudham Duryodhanas Tada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Drishtva tu Pandava Anikam Vyudham. Seeing the military arrangement of the sons of Pandavas, Duryodhana at that time, Tada Acharyam Upasangamya went to his guru Dronacharya, Raja Vachanam Abravit, and spoke to him the following words. What is that? This is the first verse spoken by Duryodhana, text 3 of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Pashyaitam Panduputranam, seeing the sons of Pandu, Panduputranam, Pashyaitam, seeing the sons of Pandu uh, assembled in the battlefield, Acharya Mahatim Jamu. He is addressing his teacher, Acharya Dronacharya, O teacher, Mahatim Jamum. Great military force is being organized by whom? Drupada Putrena, by the son of Drupad Maharaj, Drishtadyumna, is the brother of Mother Draupadi. So Drishtadyumna, the son of Drupada, he has arranged a great military force. Tavasishyena Dhimata, he is your own disciple. But Dhimata, very intelligent disciple, he has expertly arranged a great military force, because Pandavas, they were sent to exile for 13 years. And as soon as their exile was complete, they came to Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, and requested them to return their kingdom, but they were not willing to, and therefore war was inevitable. And Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra, they declared war immediately. Of course, Krishna also said, there is no other alternative other than war. We have to engage in war to get back the rightful kingdom for the Pandavas. So war was the last resort. which was taken, not the first resort. Compromise, mediation, all these things were followed initially, or at least uh, give some share for the Pandavas, 50-50 share, that was not agreed. At least one village for each Pandava, that was also not agreed. War was inevitable. The war was the last resort. So, because they came from the exile, how could they organize great army? Therefore, Duryodhana is saying here to Dronacharya, this was, that's why he was also surprised when Pandavas came with a huge army and assembled them in the battlefield. Duryodhana was surprised. How could they organize such a big army? He understood immediately. This was the act of Drupada Putrena Himata, act of the intelligent disciple of Dronacharya, Drishtadyumna. He has organized this great army. Mahatim Chamum Vyudham. He has arranged. See? So one man is enough to organize a great army. Elsewhere also it is said, suppose there's a rose garden. There's a rose garden. Uh, Nice fragrance. But one poison tree you plant, finished. Entire rose garden fragrance will be lost. In fact, the roses may not even grow, even they may die. One poison tree is enough. So, one poisonous creature is enough to destroy everything. Just like we know, even in the Krishna's pastimes, this Kalia was there. One poisonous snake. It was emitting poison. And the entire atmosphere was becoming poisonous. And all the trees, they all died. Except one tree, Kadamba tree, on which Lord Krishna climbed and jumped on the Kalia later on. And then he danced on the Kalia. And by the dancing, he actually made the Kalia vomit all the poison stocked in his consciousness and body. And when he came to his senses, then he offered nice prayers to Krishna. So, uh, all the cows, the domestic animals, they all became unconscious because of the poisonous uh, vapors spread all over the atmosphere in the Kaliaghat area. So this one tree, of course, Kadamba tree, was not affected by the poisonous effect of Kalia because Garuda knew that this pastime or this instance is going to take place in the future. So he had dropped some nectar onto this tree so that this tree will survive. So this tree will survive. That's how this tree, Kadamba tree, one tree didn't die. And Krishna could climb on the tree and then perform his pastime of Kaliya Mardana. So what I'm trying to say is, you can just appreciate how, uh, if you neglect one enemy, he can gather a huge enemy. Actually, in the history, although we don't want to discuss material politics and material history, but actually you can read. There are many instances where one man has organized great army. Even our Indian history itself talks about that. Subhash Chandra Bose. One person organized a great military force and drove away the British. One person. Many examples are there. Even before Subhash Chandra Bose. Many examples. Chanak Pandit gives another example. Uh, Both way, positively and negatively. One bad son in the family can destroy the entire good reputation of the Vamsha, not the family, lineage. Generations' reputation which is built up. One bad son can spoil it completely. Similarly, one good son can elevate and bring about the reputation of his lineage, even though they may be from a very bad family. Just like we have Prahlad Maharaj. He is taken birth in a family of Asuras. Yet, because of this one good son, entire lineage became glorified. Bali Maharaj, he also coming in the family of Asuras. These are classic examples to show how uh, uh, one person can make the difference. Good son brings about good reputation, bad son brings about bad reputation. So, actually, these ministers of comes are very intelligent in that sense. They're saying, therefore, please don't neglect these devatas, although they're insignificant. Prabhupada gives three very good examples from the Niti Shastra, moral instructions for common people. First one, Prabhupada quotes is that one should not neglect to extinguish fire. Maybe there's a small spark only. There's the first instance. One should not neglect to extinguish fire completely. Actually, it's interesting to note. We all have these are all common sense things, yet it doesn't strike us. Therefore, for common people, these are instructive. There may be a small spark, but that small spark only will become a big fire and burn off everything. You have hundreds of such examples in this regard. So it should not be neglected. Yesterday we have this song we sing in the morning, Samsara Dhava, Nalali Dhaloka. Somewhere one small leaf catches fire in a forest. Or suppose there is a there is a garden. One leaf catches fire. You think the garden will remain? Only one leaf? You put out the fire. Suppose fire is caught, and then you put out the fire, but just in one leaf, still little fire is blazing. You neglect it. Oh, okay, anyway, mostly we have put off all the fire. So this fire will spread to another leaf, another leaf, another leaf, then to the branches, then to the trunk, then to another tree, another tree, another tree. Entire garden will be burned to ashes. We have that practical experience in our life. It's like just recently, I think it was on 19th January, just few weeks back, the Kumbh Mela event recently, some gas cylinders, gas leak was there, and one tent caught with fire, and that spread 40 huts and 10 tents burned to ashes in no time. Immediately, the fire engine, the fire brigade, everybody were put into action. Even by the time they could come, they're all there. Actually, they had planned in a very big way in the Kumbh Mela. The Uttar Pradesh government has planned a lot of fire extinguishers, fire brigades, fire engines. All of immediately they came. By the time they came, already this much damage is being done. I just appreciate how quickly the destruction happens if we neglect. Even in one tent, we heard some wooden tent. There was a heater, not even direct fire. Heater, because it's cold. Kumbh Mela is very cold. Kumbh Mela region, very cold. Also in January, particularly. So that kept heater so that it will warm up the tents or the cottages for the people to stay comfortably. So one heater fell down, actually, from the table, fell down, and then it caught fire, and the entire tent burnt. By the time they can come and put off the fire, see? And we know all in the kitchens and all how just a small gas leak and so many disasters take place. So many disasters. Therefore, fire to be extinguished completely, not neglect. Then the second thing Prabhupada quotes is treat diseases completely. So that is also very important. You cannot treat it 90% and leave it. 100% we have to be free from disease. Otherwise, it can aggravate any moment. There is also what is called as relapse in medical science. Relapse means recur. Once again, it will come back. Like we all know this chicken pox. How many times it relapses? So many times it relapses. Cancer also relapses. One doctor was telling. Cancer also relapses. You cannot neglect. I think everything is fine now. No. A small trace is there, will shoot up again. Even small trace must not be left. Again, it will shoot up otherwise. Oh. That is why so here it is said the diseases must be treated completely, 100%, and clear debts completely. There should be no debts. Hmm. No debts. This is also Chanakya Pandit says. First of all, one should not be a debtor. Don't take any debts in life. The basic principle. One should never take loans. If he takes, he's ruined. That's all. If he makes a loan, he's ruined in his life. That's all. In today's time, especially, it is even more evident how people ruin their life by taking debts. The debt is called credit card in Kali Yuga's language. Actually, credit card is a debt card. Actually, you are paying everything on debt. It's not debit card, credit card. It is ruining people's life. You take one credit card, you'll not know what's going on. Go on swiping, 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 and then finally you end up, you know, not knowing how much is being taken, and you don't have money to pay because it's credit card. You don't have clarity of what is happening, how much transaction has happened. Then to clear this credit card, you will take another credit card, clear the loan in this credit card, and if you don't pay the credit card, there's interest. Anyway, we'll not go technically now, but it's all very, very dangerous. What they mention, one small star will be there. Interest and interest on interest, and that gets added to the principal. Then one is interest, which is piling up month on month. Then there is penalty if you don't pay within the time. That gets added to the principal plus interest plus penalty. Then that becomes the base amount. Above that, again, there is a tax. There is an interest. Oh my God, it's a very vicious cycle. So you take another credit card to clear this credit card. Then this will pile up again very soon. Then to clear this credit, you'll take another third credit card. To clear that, you'll take the fourth credit card. And then some people end up taking 5, 6, 7, 8 credit cards. And the CIBIL score, they'll be blacklisted. So that means you go to any bank, they'll not take your account at all. Life becomes ruined actually. It is actually happening. Even today it is happening. Loan also, you see. We know so many people like that. One person takes loan from A, and then he cannot clear it. Therefore, he'll go to B and take money and then give to, because that you take the principal from the person A, say 1 lakh rupee or 10 lakh, whatever, and then you are not able to pay back. You take from B, but the interest mounts up so much, you are only able to pay the interest, not clear the principal. So then, in the meanwhile, this loan you are taken from B also is piling up. Now to clear that, you take loan from C. To clear that, you take loan from D. To clear that, you take loan from E. I'm telling factual stories. I'm not quoting the person name. My own experience, these things happen. Not for me, to somebody else whom I've heard, I've been interacting with. So what has happened then? From E, he's trying to pay D. From D's money, he's trying to pay C. From C's money, he's trying to pay B. From B's money, he's trying to pay A. Finally, it doesn't get cleared. Imagine how many loans he has created. Most people commit suicide. That is the end. That is why it's very dangerous. So, Chanakya says there are four enemies in life. Anybody knows that four enemies? The four enemies in one's life. Rinakarta Pita Shatru, the first enemy. That means a father who dies insolvent is an enemy. And how is an enemy? Yeah, because father should make assets and die, not create debts and die for his sons to inherit. Because naturally, children or sons, primarily sons, inherit father's property. But here, the son is inheriting the debt of the father. Therefore, he is an enemy. So, Rinakarta Pita Shatru. Prabhupada quotes one example of one great barrister, lawyer, the early 19th century, one C.R. Das, very famous barrister. You can Google and see. So this C.R. Das, his father died insolvent. He made a lot of debts and he died, not able to repay. Then the debtors came to C.R. Das's house saying that, sir, that too after he became a lawyer, because when he's a young boy, anyway, what he can repay. So when he actually became a famous lawyer and became very rich, C.R. Das became very rich. When he became rich, then all the debtors came to his home, knocking his door. Sir, your father has made a big debt, so please clear. So he settled all of them, paisa to paisa. So the point here is how the son inherits the debt of the father. Debt of the father. That is why he is an enemy. Actually, son should be inheriting assets and property, but here he is inheriting debt. What kind of father he is? So that's why Rinakarta Pita Shatru. He is an enemy. In one's family also there can be enemies. We think enemy means outside family. No, Chanakya is saying there are four peculiar enemies, strange enemies within one's home. This is the first enemy. Four enemies. First enemy within the family. Second enemy, Matacha Vyabhicharini. A mother who marries for the second time. Even though the son is grown up, he is an enemy. Mother is married. Obviously, that's why there is a son. So the son is grown up, okay? After the sons grow up, and again if the mother marries, for the second time, he's a Shatru. He's an enemy. So Matacha Vyabhicharini, marrying second time. When grown up sons are there in the they are of she is expected to marry the sons. What is it that she is marrying? Mother, father, they're supposed to marry the children who are of marriageable age. He's planning her marriage when she is supposed to plan children's marriage. That too, they're grown up of marriageable age. So is he not an enemy? He's an enemy. Then Rupavati Bharya, a very beautiful wife, is actually an enemy. In the sense, actually Prabhupada says why Chanakya Pandit wrote this. Beautiful wife is an enemy because Chanakya Pandit had a bad experience about concerning his wife. Probably his wife also was very beautiful, and some issue popped up. When you have a beautiful wife, there is big risk. Everybody's eyes will be on her, so you have to protect her, safeguard her. It's quite a difficult job. Very difficult job, not easy, and many other things anyway. Not just protecting her, but many other reasons are there. So Rupavati Bharya, in that sense, sometimes people always want beautiful wife. But beautiful wife also brings danger and difficulties. Because people in general are lusty, more of passion, they're not gentlemen. So many problems. Rupavati Bharya Shatru. Then Putra Shatru Apanditaha. A son who's a murkha or a fool. He is also Shatru. A son who's not a learned person, a fool rather. He is also an enemy. Does not have knowledge of Shastra or any common sense. He is also a Shatru. He does not live up to the reputation of the father. Does something which affects the reputation of the family, then he is the Shatru. So these four kinds of enemies. So, so we can appreciate how we have to uproot all the enemies completely. So here one word is used. Anuvratan, the last word in this verse. We are ready to follow you. Imagine. See, these asuras, the idea or the spirit or the quality of following is there even the asuras. If for asuras there is a leader. Can you imagine? Even asuras also have a leader. And they're willing to follow. Anuvratan. Niyungshva asman anuvratan. Please engage us, for we are ready to follow you. This is exactly what Krishna also is saying. Please follow me, Baba. No, 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 no. I have my plan. Those also we see they also have a leader that they're following. The exact what Prahlad Maharaj says, Andha yata andai upaniyamana. But the result will be, they api ishatantriyam urudhamni baddha. That is the result. So, there's no question of not following. Prabhupada had been telling this many times. The nature of the jiva is to follow. Because we are not independent. We are dependent. Everybody is dependent, including Brahma and Shiva. Everybody is dependent. Nobody is independent or Ishvara. That's why Vyasadeva very clearly defines the position of Krishna as Abhigna Swarat in the very beginning of Bhagavatam. The only independent God is Krishna. That's why he is accepted as the absolute truth. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because people always argue, who's that supreme independent Lord? The very first line, even before beginning Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva has clarified, and still people are in doubt who is God. Or even if they accept God, they think there are many gods, not just one God. Well, people don't accept God. Or if there are people who are accepting God, they think there are many gods. There's no one single God. You cannot single out one person as God. But Vyasadeva is not saying that. He's saying Om Namo Bhagavate. That's why we use the word Bhagavan there. To Vasudeva. Both words you have to combine. Bhagavate, Vasudeva. Don't study separately. Vasudeva is Bhagavan. Vasudeva is Bhagavan. He is qualified as Bhagavan. And what kind of Bhagavan? Abhigna Swarat, supremely independent God. Not just independent, supremely independent. So, Prabhupada calls him as a transcendental autocrat. A beautiful term. Autocracy means his rule is supreme. His order prevails. Nobody can question him. So Abhigna Swarat. But he's a transcendental autocrat. Means all his orders, rulings are for the good and welfare of everyone. Nobody will be put to trouble. Don't have to worry. It's not material autocracy. Transcendental autocracy. Very good well-being. Sometimes the parents become very strict. They say absolutely no freedom for you. No, I'll not agree. For the children. So sometimes people think if there's no freedom given absolutely, we suffocate. But actually, that's not necessarily true. In the Vedic culture, many times this modern generation, they think in the Vedic times or in the Vedic culture, too much of control is there. But actually, the control can be looked in two different ways. One is protection. One more can also be autocracy. Lording over. The word used in our transcendental spiritual circle is lording over, we say. That's a disease. We have come to this world with lording over nature. You want to lord over opportunities, situations, people, things, everything we want to lord over. Subtly or grossly. Grossly also we are not aware. Forget being aware of subtle lording over. No idea only what is lording over. So anyway, So the control can be exercised because of lording over nature or due to protective nature. So in the Vedic culture, generally the control is exercised for the sake of protection. Just like a small child is not given freedom. Why? It's to protect the child. In the Vedic culture, woman is not given freedom. That has raised a big uproar in today's world. The idea is not control or not exploitation, it is protection. Because of utmost care. When do you protect something? When something is valuable. When something is very valuable, you want to protect. Therefore, in our Vedic culture, women, children, old men, animals, they're given protection. Our subordinates, disciple. To give protection, so-called freedom is actually taken away to protect them so that they don't go astray. They don't become unprotected, remain unprotected. Like the yogi is also told to protect, control his mind. Why? Otherwise, this mind will go haywire. Anywhere and everywhere it will go. So that is why there is control. Control means, another meaning is restriction for the sake of protection and achieving the goal. So anuvratan. So otherwise, following is there, but see these people, these Asuric ministers end up following Kamsa. Kamsa ends up following the Asuric ministers. Both ways, see reciprocally, one Asura following another Asura. This is called Andhayata and there Upaniyamana, blind leading the blind. Finally, they fall in the ditch. They be Ishatantriyam Urudhamni Baddha. They become bound to the cycle of birth and death without any possibility of escape from the cycle of birth and death because of being blind to the spiritual instructions. They don't have a spiritual leader. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says very nicely, Vaishnava Thakura Tomara Kukura Buliya Janaha More. Krishna se Tomara Krishna Dite Para. Saying one should desire to become a dog in strictly following a devotee. Krishna is in the hand of a devotee. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is desiring, I want to become a dog of a Vaishnava. Dog has got one good quality. Prabhupada explains one good quality. What is that? Faithfulness. The dog listens to the master. Faithfulness. He is very faithful to the master. Doesn't disobey or neglect the orders of its master. One good quality the dog has got. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is desiring, I want to become a dog of not some mundane master, of a Vaishnava. The spirit meaning, I want to become his servant and perfectly follow the Vaishnava and be safe under the care of a Vaishnava. Feel protected under the care of a Vaishnava. Completely secure in Krishna consciousness. So we have to follow someone. Why not follow Vaishnava? Guru, Krishna. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is teaching us. Last point. Here one nice example is there in the case of Narada Muni. Prabhupada is saying, if one seeks the favor of a devotee, instead of directly asking favors from the Supreme Lord, one is very easily successful. If we take favor from a devotee than the Lord, then it will be surely successful and easily successful. So the case study is about Nalakura and Manikriva. Prabhupada says, Nalakura and Manikriva actually had nothing to do with devotional service or seeing the Supreme Lord. Nalakura and Manikriva, they are not devotees. They are not engaged in devotional service, nor they have desire to see Krishna face to face. See, 2 points we should note. They are not doing devotional service, nor they are interested in seeing Krishna face to face. Prabhupada says, because seeing Krishna or even doing devotional service is not an ordinary opportunity. It is not that because one is very rich or learned or was born in an aristocratic family, one will be able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. No. Nalakura Manikriva is a standard classic example. The sons of Kuvera. So what? You cannot see Krishna just because you are rich, powerful. This is impossible. But in this case, because Narada Muni desired that Nalakura and Manigriva see Vasudeva face to face, the Supreme Lord wanted to fulfill the words of his very dear devotee Narada. Therefore, the Lord appeared and delivered Nalakura and Mani because of the favor of Narada Muni. So therefore, uh, being under the shelter of a devotee or serving a Vaishnava is always very, very blessed opportunity. So one should seek to become a dog or a faithful servant or a follower, Anuvratan or Anuvratan, follower of the Vaishnavas. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Prabhupada ki.